Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try to be disciplined, you always end up returning to old habits? That your mind is easily dominated by distractions and emotions? If so, know that you're not alone. Most people struggle to maintain consistency and mental clarity, and this is exactly what Stoicism can help resolve. The ancient Stoics understood that life is unpredictable, but they believed that what we do every day defines who we become. Small daily habits were the key to figures like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus developing a strong, disciplined, and resilient mindset. And the best part, these habits can be applied today by anyone to become mentally unshakable. In this video, you will discover the 7 daily habits of Stoics that can transform the way you think, react, and live. And if you apply just one of them, you will already feel a real difference in your life. So stay with me until the end, because each habit is an essential piece in creating the mindset of a true Stoic. Many people are interested in Stoicism, read about its principles, and even get inspired by Marcus Aurelius's quotes, but in practice, they struggle to apply this philosophy in their daily lives. The reason? Lack of consistency. Without solid habits, any knowledge is lost in the flow of daily obligations and fleeting emotions. The modern world bombards us with distractions and stimuli that make discipline a challenge. Social media, news, external pressures. Everything pulls us away from self-control and mental clarity. So how can we stay focused and cultivate a strong mind amidst this chaos? The Stoics' answer was simple. Turn your philosophy into daily action. For figures like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, it was not enough to understand Stoicism. It had to be practiced every day. They developed habits that ensured their mindset remained firm, no matter what happened around them. And this is exactly what we will explore in this video. In the next few minutes, you will learn about 7 simple yet extremely powerful habits that, when practiced daily, can change the way you handle challenges, emotions, and even destiny itself. Let's start with the first one, a habit that helped Marcus Aurelius organize his mind and maintain control over his thoughts. Imagine starting your day with mental clarity and ending the night with a peaceful mind, free from regret or unnecessary worries. This was Marcus Aurelius's secret, one of the greatest emperors of Rome and one of the most notable practitioners of Stoicism. His personal journal, which later became the book Meditations, was not written for the public. It was a daily exercise of reflection. Writing was his way of aligning his thoughts, reviewing his mistakes, and reinforcing Stoic principles. This habit helped him stay focused on what truly mattered, preventing him from being overwhelmed by impulses or passing emotions. And the best part? You can apply this practice the same way. The structure of the Stoic journal is simple but powerful. In the morning, write about your intentions for the day. What kind of person do you want to be? What challenges might you face? How can you apply Stoic principles? This prepares you mentally to act with wisdom and purpose. At night, review your day with 3 essential questions. What did I do well? What could I have done better? What did I learn? This exercise prevents you from making the same mistakes repeatedly and allows for continuous growth. The daily writing doesn't need to be long. A few sentences are enough. What matters is consistency. If you adopt this habit, you'll start noticing a real shift in your mindset, becoming more aware of your actions and emotions. Now that you know how to reflect and structure your thinking like a true Stoic, let's move on to the second habit, a principle that can eliminate 90% of unnecessary stress in your life. How many times have you worried about something completely out of your control? Traffic, other people's opinions, the weather, other people's decisions. These worries drain our energy and waste our time. But the Stoics had a simple approach to this: the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that in life there are only two categories of things, those we can control and those we cannot. Everything outside of our control, like the past, what others think, or unpredictable events, should be accepted with serenity. But what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and choices, deserves our full attention. Adopting this mindset changes everything. Instead of wasting energy trying to change the uncontrollable, you learn to focus on what you can truly influence. This reduces stress, anxiety, and frustration. A practical example is dealing with failure. Instead of lamenting, practice amor fati. This happened to teach me something, and I will learn from it. This radically changes the way you perceive problems, transforming them into essential parts of your journey, not interruptions. Now, let's move on to the next habit, which involves the power of focusing on the present and embracing each moment without being distracted by worries about the future or the past. How many times have you caught yourself thinking about what you should have done yesterday, or even worse, what will happen tomorrow? This pattern of thought prevents us from living fully. Focusing on the present is one of Stoicism's most powerful practices and is central to developing an unshakable life. Seneca talked about the value of time, saying that most people spend their lives worrying about what they cannot control, while time slips through their fingers. He warned that the past no longer exists and the future has not yet come. The only time we truly have is the present. When we practice focusing on the present, we learn to make the most of each moment as it is, without carrying the weight of the past or anxiety about the future. This doesn't mean being indifferent to what's to come, but rather acting wisely in the present moment without letting fears or regrets take over. A practical technique to incorporate this habit is using mindfulness. Whenever you notice your mind wandering to the past or future, bring your focus back to the present. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to live the best possible life? This habit improves our ability to take action, increases our productivity, and reduces stress. When you are fully present, you become more effective in everything you do. Now let's move on to the last habit, which involves cultivating virtue. The true goal of Stoicism and the foundation of any well-lived life. In the end, the ultimate goal of Stoicism is to live a virtuous life. The Stoics believed that virtue is the only true good, and that the pursuit of it is the key to a full and unshakable life. But what does it mean to cultivate virtue daily? Virtue for the Stoics is not something abstract or idealistic. It manifests in concrete actions. The practice of virtue involves four main qualities: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are the pillars upon which the Stoic life is built. Wisdom refers to the rational use of reason. In daily life, it means making thoughtful decisions, reflecting before acting, and learning from mistakes. Courage. Stoic courage is not just bravery in physical situations, but the moral strength to do what is right, even when it's difficult or unpopular. Justice. Being just means treating others with respect and acting with integrity. In daily life, this means being honest, respectful, and impartial in your interactions. Temperance. It means balance and moderation, controlling our desires and emotions so they don't dominate us. How can you apply virtue in your daily life? Whenever you face a challenging situation, ask yourself, which virtue can I practice now? This could be as simple as keeping calm in a disagreement, temperance, or acting honestly, even when no one is watching, justice. By cultivating these virtues, you begin to live with a higher purpose and become more resilient in the face of adversity. And so, we come to the end of the Stoic habits, but the journey never ends. The true Stoic knows that daily practice is what truly brings transformation. What do you think? These 7 Stoic habits are more than just theory. They are powerful tools to transform your mindset and life. Of course, we're not perfect, and it takes time to truly internalize these practices. The key is consistency. By incorporating these habits into your daily routine, you'll start experiencing profound changes in your mindset and ability to handle challenges. The Stoics believed that we cannot control the external world, but we can control our response to it. And that is exactly what these habits do. They help you take control of your thoughts, actions, and emotions, building an unshakable life in the process. So, which habit will you start practicing today? Leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video with someone who could benefit from these Stoic habits. Keep practicing and live the unshakable life you deserve. To practice this habit daily, whenever you face a problem, ask yourself, is this under my control? If the answer is no, accept it and move on. If it's yes, take the best possible action. A helpful technique is to write on a piece of paper 2 columns, can control and cannot control. And whenever something bothers you, categorize it and adjust your mindset. Mastering this habit gives you a deep sense of tranquility and power over your life. And now, let's move on to the third habit, which goes beyond the mind and also strengthens your body, the voluntary training of discomfort. Have you ever stopped to think about how modern society has conditioned us to extreme comfort? We have food a click away, air conditioning to adjust the perfect temperature, and we avoid any kind of discomfort whenever possible. But for the Stoics, this excess comfort makes us weak. Seneca, one of the leading Stoic philosophers, said, "Practice being uncomfortable so that when real difficulty comes, you won't be caught off guard." He believed that by voluntarily exposing yourself to discomfort, you strengthen your mind and learn to deal better with unexpected challenges. But how can you apply this in practice? Here are a few simple ways to incorporate this habit daily. Take cold showers. This teaches your body to cope with discomfort and strengthens your discipline. Occasionally sleep on the floor. Seneca did this to remind himself that he could live with less than he imagined. Fast for a few hours or a whole day. This helps develop self-control and awareness of how little you depend on immediate comfort. Practice challenging physical exercises. Pushing your physical limits trains your mental resilience. The goal is not to suffer without reason, but to train your mind to be resilient. When you voluntarily expose yourself to discomfort, the real-life difficulties become easier to face. Now that we've talked about strengthening resilience through discomfort, let's move on to the next habit, which involves one of Stoicism's deepest concepts, meditation on mortality. Death is something many prefer to ignore or avoid thinking about, but for the Stoics, reflecting on mortality was essential for a fulfilling life. Memento mori. Remember that you are mortal. This habit, which literally means remember death, is not a macabre practice, but a way to remind us of the preciousness of time. Epictetus, for example, frequently reflected on the inevitability of death. This didn't make him live in fear, but encouraged him to live with more urgency, value time, and focus on what truly mattered. For him, mortality was not something to be feared, but something to be accepted with wisdom. How can you apply this concept practically? Every day, take a moment to reflect on your own mortality. Ask yourself, what am I doing today that really matters? How am I investing my time? This creates a healthy sense of urgency, moving you to act with more purpose and direction. Additionally, remembering death brings humility and gratitude. Realizing that each day is a unique opportunity, you learn to appreciate what you have and let go of what is trivial. Life is not about the quantity of years, but about the quality of the moments lived. Now let's move on to the next habit, which is about accepting and loving your fate, a practice that turns even the greatest challenges into opportunities for growth. Have you ever found yourself complaining about something that didn't go as planned, about an obstacle that appeared in your way or something that didn't work out? This resistance to what life presents is natural, but for the Stoics, it is also a source of unnecessary suffering. The solution lies in a deep and transformative concept, amor fati, or love of fate. Friedrich Nietzsche, influenced by the Stoics, popularized the idea that we should not only accept but love everything that happens in our lives, even the challenges and suffering. Stoicism teaches us that instead of fighting what we cannot control, we should embrace those circumstances as opportunities for growth. How can you apply amor fati in your daily life? Whenever an obstacle arises, ask yourself, how can I use this to my advantage? Instead of resisting what didn't go right, look for the lesson in the situation. Every mistake, every challenge can be a disguised opportunity to develop more wisdom, patience, and resilience.